So similarly to how we were looking at addition, let's look at how children develop subtraction strategies. So single-digit subtraction. So how do they start figuring out what is 9 minus 4 or what is 8 minus 3? So for example, let us look at 8 minus 3. If we are looking at the very, very beginning where kids are starting to understand that addition, subtraction is a takeaway. So we would be able to have students model 8, and they would physically take the 3, remove them, and count the remaining 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they would say 5 is remaining. So they can do this with objects, they can do it with fingers, but really what's happening is they count out the sum, the first number, they take away the one of the add-ins, so they take away the 3, and they count what's left. So they're counting 3 times in this situation. So the second level is where they realize that 8 minus 3 equals question mark is actually a missing add-in situation. They can say 3 plus what equals 8. And either they know this already, or they can count up from 3. So they might say, if I'm counting up from 3, I need to say 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I needed that many pieces, that many items to get to 8. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So that's 5. Or they might be lifting their fingers. So they start with 3, and then they'll say, lift one finger, get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. By the time they get to 8, they have 5 fingers up. So that's the second level, using missing addend, just like we were talking about here in our discussion of addition and subtraction and how they relate. So make a 10 method is another way which combines the missing addend and counting up, makes it a little bit more sophisticated. So make a 10 method. Let's say we have 14 minus 8, which is the example that they have. If we are using the make a 10 with unknown addend, then we say, okay, 8 plus what equals 14? And we could say, well, we know that 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14. Right? So what we didn't know 8 plus what is 14, and we got there through 2 steps. We added 2 first to make 10, and then we said to get to 14 we need to add 4 more. So now what we're missing is 6. So the question mark was 6. So 14 minus 8 is actually 6. So this is actually a really, really powerful method of knowing where to start and knowing where to end, but to get there in a couple of steps rather than to go straight from 8 plus what is 14. You can say, well, let me get there. I know that 8 plus 2 is 10 and plus another 4 is 14. So what I added in total was 6. So that's something that we will see, this kind of strategy of getting partway there to an easier spot and then taking another step to get to the final answer. We'll see that strategy in a number of different places. Multiplication, division of fractions. We'll see this kind of strategy in many places. Okay, subtract from 10. So if we have 14 minus 8, and we don't know what that is, well, I would really love to, instead of subtracting 8 from 14, subtract 8 from 10. So what we can have here is 10 plus 4, right, minus the 8. So now we need to take 8 away from 10 and 4. Now, which pile is it easier to take 8 away from? Isn't it easier to take 8 away from 10? Couldn't we figure out 10 minus 8 plus 4? So 2 plus 4. Right? But you need to visualize. If you have a pile of 14, you can make a pile of 10 and a pile of 4. Right? And if you need to remove 8, doesn't matter where you remove 8 from, you could remove 8 from here. leaving you with 2 and 4. The other option is subtracting 210 first. So 14 minus 8 equals question mark. You could say, well, what do I need to subtract? Because I need to take away 8, but what do I need to take away to get to a nice number? Well, what if I subtract 4 first and then subtract another 4? Right? So if I want to take away 8, I could take away 4 and then take away another 4. So this then is 10 minus 4. So that is 6. Notice the flexibility with which the kids can think about these when they have an understanding of what the operation is doing. Right? So practice this with, just make up some questions. Let's stay under 20 and make up some questions and see if you can figure out how a level 1, level 2, and level 3 student would be looking at them and how they might be able to solve them.